Hello, good evening, everyone. So nice to see so many of you. We're going to give it just a couple of minutes for anyone to finish dinner and some of the younger ones. But just for now, what you guys are hearing are a little bit under the summer. We're a little excited for what's coming up in this whole week. This is one of our favorite weekend songs that we'll do on Saturday night. Just the best in my days. Before we get going, I'll just welcome anyone to turn your camera on. It is not required, but the more faces, the better. One of my favorite things is to see everyone. But again, background music. Not going to be any interactive, icebreakers or anything holding those things. We'll probably just give it one more minute just in case anyone's, just dealing with a little technical challenges or rushing through the computer, someone to jump on. Oh yeah, I see the move. Sorry, I hear something. You got to move a little bit. All right.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
It's Hadas. My
Everybody.
camera isn't working. I don't know why. So,
Totally okay. Uh, Hello, everybody. Welcome. So glad to have all of you here. One, this is the first time we're doing this, so please, if you have any feedback at the end, let us know. But we wanted to just take an opportunity to give you a little orientation, tell you a little bit of what you can expect when you come to camp in under a week now. It's actually officially under a week because you're going to drop off in a little earlier than today. So to start us off, I'll kick it over to our executive director, Frank, to tell us just a little bit in the start.
Well, welcome everyone again. My name's Frank, as Max said. This is my 26th summer to be at CYJ. And, we're excited for you to come and for your kids to come. And I think by going to this orientation, whether you've been before or not, it's a way to kind of set your mind at ease and to be prepared. And drop-off day is fun. It's a fun day. So I wanted to share this picture because I think pictures tell stories. So this is during leadership training. So as you all are preparing for camp, almost a week ago and 3 days, we started leadership training. So we're training the supervisors, the counselors, we're training the heads of specialty areas, we're training lifeguards and ropes course. So I took some of the leadership team out of camp, and the reason I'll explain why I'm sharing this with you now, but this is a picture of us at a bee farm. So this is a bee farm in Austin. And we went there because I wanted the Merrick team to understand just the experience that our campers are going through. The Merrick team, they didn't know where we were going, but they knew what they had to pack. And I said, you had to pack long pants and you had to have socks above your ankles, closed-toed shoes, but you couldn't wear pink you couldn't wear red or black. Okay. And they're like, what are we doing? And they're a little nervous. Same thing as our campers may be before the summer. Am I going to make friends? Is it going to be fun? All those kind of things. And then we pull into the bee farm, and my, and I know one kid, and first question I asked everyone before we left is anyone anaphylaxis? Because I didn't want to take them if they're anaphylaxis to bees. But so there was some of the staff were really nervous when they pulled into the bee farm because they were scared of bees. And not abnormal for kids who say, I don't want to do that ropes course tower. I'm scared, but it's okay. And so everyone faced their fears and they put on the suits and then they took out the beehives and the beekeeper actually handed to those that wanted to, and we got to hold the beehives, and there was something like, what they say, 5,000-6,000 bees around it. I mean, there was over 200,000 bees in this area, and not everyone held it, but that was their challenge. Their challenge was just showing up. And so I thought it was a neat correlation in bonding and leadership experience, similar to what our campers are going through. So just to set the record straight for everyone here, no one's going to be dealing with bees at camp. Okay. So anyways, Mac, yeah, let's jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat, or at the very end, we'll open up just for some open Q&A to make sure that you guys are all prepared for next week. That's the whole goal of this. So to start off, I want to tell you just a little bit about some of the things we kind of need to, check the box, basically. When you get to camp, we got a little bit of work to do. So you're going to come in through our beautiful new gate, and you're going to park. You're going to come to our soccer field where we're going to have bag drop off and some medication drop off. Now, bag drop-offs, there's been a few people to help, but we're going to have big signs that say, the cabin number and which side, and we're going to have people around to let you know which cabin you're going to be in so that you can put your bags down, and then we got it from there. Our huge logistics team, they got a lot of cars and carts and things like that. They're going to be moving all the bags to the bunks so that you don't have to take them all the way. And from there, after you drop the bags off, if you have medication, we're going to have our nurses available. Now, if you want to pack up all the medications, you write very clear instructions. You have the exact right number of doses that you need for the session, plus maybe a couple extra just in case. Then you don't have any questions. You can just drop it off and you are good to go. If you want to sit for a couple of minutes, maybe explain something, ask some questions with our head nurse or one of our camp doctors, you're more than welcome to. Again, they're there to help you out and answer any questions you have to make sure that you feel safe and you feel comfortable dropping your kid off that day. We're going to have ample signage around camp with, here's the medical drop-off station, here's the bag drop-offs, here's where you go into camp. And so if you're ever unsure of what's going on, hopefully our signage helps out. But if not, we're also going to have people around all of CYJ just making sure to answer any questions and that you're able to get to where you need to go.
I want to add a little bit to medication drop-off. Just a couple of things to remind everyone. One, in the Camp in Touch, if your kids are taking any medicine, you need to put the information in there. It'll ask what the medicine is, the dosage, when it's given, that type thing. That must be exactly correct in there. Because what happens is any medicines that don't show up to camp that are in there, we're going to have to call you and say, hey, this medicine didn't show up. Or if extra medicines come that are not in there, then it takes the time of the doctors and nurses to input it all. So the easiest thing is put everything in before you go to camp, like put them in now. Even if something could change, you could let us know, but put it in now. And then you take the original pill bottles that has the child's name on it and the prescription on the bottle. You put them in a Ziploc bag. So if you have 2 or 3 different meds, they'll be in their individual pill bottle in the Ziploc bags. And with the Sharpie, write the name on the bag larger so no one's looking down. So that will help everyone out. If you do that, you could take the bags and just drop it into the medicine pickup place, and you don't have to meet with the nurse or doctor. If you don't do that, then you need to wait in line and go through the process. So it's pretty easy, and it speeds everything up if you could do that, please.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of our biggest goal here for this drop off is fast, easy, simple, and enjoyable. That's what we want your guys' experience to be. And we hope that we set up a process that hits all those marks. So once you drop off your bags, you're going to go through our summer gate, and this is different than our entrance gate. Our summer gate is going to be a big balloon arch and maybe a couple wacky inflatable tube guys or something like that, but you'll know it when you see it. And this is really when you get to come into camp, and this is kind of the first step of the summer. Now we got all the work done, it's time to have some fun. So when you come into camp, you're going to see different stations in our great lawn. Again, there's going to be great signage, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask anyone that's wearing a staff shirt. And we'll also all have our name tags on here. So they'll look just like that. And anyone with a name tag can answer any question you have, or at least point you in the right direction. At the check-in stations, there's going to be a different check-in station for each age group, each age. So you'll see big signs that say Nitzanim or Bogrim or Chalitzim or Segal. And we want you to go ahead and go over to those stations where you're going to be able to meet all of the madrichim, the counselors from that Eidah. You're going to be able to meet the merikez or the merikezet, the unit head, and some other parents that are probably dropping off their kids as well. And so it's a great opportunity just to meet a couple of more people who might have similar age kids. Maybe you're from the same area, and who knows, maybe that's the start of a much longer friendship. At these stations, we're also going to have a very short one-pager about each counselor in the ADOT, so that you can learn a little bit about who they are, where they come from, what their background is, and hopefully you'll be able to see that we have a great mix of madrichim that come from mostly here in Texas, but also from Israel, from Mexico, and from across the US. From there, if you're ready to say goodbye, you are good to go. One of our counselors is going to meet you. They're going to say hello to your camper, and then they're going to lead them to the bunk. And that is all you have to do. If you have multiple kids, we suggest maybe dropping off the older camper first, because they're probably a little used to the process. They're probably already looking for their friends. But we leave it to you. If you think that your older camper can help your younger camper kind of ease that separation, we trust you as parents to know your kids and what might be best in that situation. If you'd like to go to the bunk, this is new this year, we are allowing parents to go to the bunk, but we're going to ask to be a pretty short visit. We know there's a lot of value in kind of passing off saying, hey, this is your bed, this is your home for the summer. We have trust to know that you'll be comfortable here. But we also want to make sure that you guys get an opportunity to see the bunk if you're interested. We will ask that you don't, move anything in the bunk. There's going to be some name tags and things like that. And we also ask that you don't help unpack. And this is the reason we do this isn't because, we don't want you to be in the bunk too long. It's actually because this is the first moment in camp that they start to build this community as a group, as a small group, as a cohort in their bunks together. And so this is the time when the counselors start to build these relationships and start to create them as a group, where now we get to kind of all do this together. We get to create our own space, and that starts us off on the right foot for the summer. So again, you're welcome to go to the bunks, but we ask to, hang for a few minutes and, meet the counselor, and then come on back. So after you drop your kids off, we have a couple of things for you. One, we got a welcoming committee, so there'll be some high up people just kind of around camp helping point in the direction. You'll see some people in lion suits just having a great time. There might be some people running around with some water guns or something like that. No promises, but if you don't want to get squared, just get one of those, and that's okay. But it's going to be hot, and we like to have a lot of fun here in camp. Lastly, we have something called the refuel station, or the hydration station, or the parent meet and greet. And this is going to be in our ELC. Again, if you haven't been to camp, all you got to do is ask, or we're going to have a big sign that says, parents, so you know exactly where to go. And in that room, we're going to have some snacks, we're going to have some seltzers, maybe some coffee, and then myself, Frank, and a few other high up people in camp will be there if you'd like to come and talk to us. We know your big goal is to meet your madrichim, your kids' counselors, and their merikez, but you might want to come say hi and just hear a little bit about what's going on, or kind of from the top level what we're looking at for this summer. So please come say hi. Would love to chat for a few minutes. But the real goal here is also for you to meet other parents in camp. If you're new to camp, this is a great way to just say hi, or create a friend that maybe you can call and just say, hey, I'm just wondering how my kid's doing. How are you doing? Right? It's an opportunity to just create these relationships and expand our community to be even a little bit wider.
Let me
And
just add in.
truthfully, that's the whole thing. I know this was fast. I know this was easy, but that's the whole goal here. The goal is to make it nice, simple, quick. So again, you could come in, you could have drop off be 15 minutes, you could have it be an hour. It's really kind of up to you. Our drop off window is from 10 to 12. And so we ask if you come a little bit early, we're going to hold you at the gate, just right at the edge. But right at 10 o'clock, we'll open up our gates. Everyone will come in and we'll start our summer. Frank, got
Mac,
anything to add?
yeah, Mac, let me add a few things. First, we're going to email you a PDF it says Park and Pass. It's basically a ticket into camp. That way you'll be on your windshield and you won't get stopped. Anyone without this printed thing on their dashboard, the security will stop them and they have to be checked off on a list. So you'll get an email with that. If you forget it, not a big deal. We just have to look you up. The other thing, and I'm speaking also as a parent that's had 3 kids and still has 1 more kid in camp as campers, you want to make the drop off to the bunk as quick as possible. If you've seen the bunks before, where the check-in table might be good enough, if you want to go to the cabin, the kids will not be allowed to unpack and make their bed and put away their clothes until the parents leave. And it's a great opportunity once the parents leave for the kids to work with the counselor in making their bed, putting their clothes away, and the other kids may work with them too. So people work together. We do once you check you leave the cabin, we ask you not to go back. That in itself is very problematic. You want to say your goodbye and move on. And remember, this is for the kids. It'll make it easier for them. You know, and it's fun. It's a fun, festive time. And, so I'm sure you have lots of questions. So just want to make sure you all knew those pieces.
So I saw just a couple questions in the chat that I'm happy to address. No such thing as a dumb question, but to be direct, the bug spray and sunscreen, you don't have to check those in unless they're, a medical grade. If they're a medical grade, please let us know. But regular bug spray, regular sunscreen, you can pack. We highly encourage it. I think it's even on the packing list. It's hot out here. We're outside, so please pack all of that. And then there's a second question about, do nurses administer all medication? And yes, our nurses oversee all medication administration, and so they're the ones that are just checking everything. We are putting trust in you guys to fill out the right forms with the right information, but they put on their own, specific eye as well.
Also, just to add, if we have a list and we've shared a list of the medicines that we stock in the infirmary. So please don't send any of those. We have those unless it's something that they take daily and then you fill it out like a prescription. But otherwise, there should be no medicines in the campers' bags. Everything must go to the health center. It's our jobs, the staff's job, to distribute medicine every day. And most meds are given out. Breakfast is the most time period, some lunch, some dinner, and then we have the night meds as well. So that's the periods that we generally give them out. So even though a doctor may say it must be at 3 p.m., we work it into the schedule.
So there's another question about bus drop-off. So I know this was highly focused, 100% focused on what's happening in camp. I'm happy to talk just for a couple of minutes of what's going on in the bus. So at bus drop-off at your location, whether it's in Houston or in Dallas, there's going to be a few staff members there, and there's going to be a medical drop-off there as well. So you'll come, you'll check your kid in. If you have medication, we're going to have a staff member there. It's not going to be one of our nurses. And so if you need to speak directly with a nurse, we suggest emailing us at nurse@cyjtexas.org and we'll set up a call. But we'll have a staff member collecting medication. So again, really important to make everything very clear with dosages and days, and the name is really important on the bag. And then you'll check your camper in on the bus, you'll throw the luggage underneath, and we'll load them up. Similar to how when we ask, if you go to the bunk and you come back not to go back, it's the same with the bus. Once they're on the bus, there's, an invisible wall on that door and they can't come off. And so we really want to make sure, once you check them in, that you're ready to go. We also find that sometimes, and again, we trust you to know your kids, but sometimes hanging around might make it harder for the kids to say goodbye. And so we also, might suggest even at a bus drop off to say your goodbyes and then let us take it from there. We'll have staff on the bus to, play some games on the way to camp. We'll have some movies as well. And, we'll really be taking care of them. But again, we know that first few moments of separation can sometimes be the most challenging moment. And so it's important to think about how we go about that. There is still room on our bus. If you'd like to change your travel option, please feel free to send me an email at mac@cyjtexas.org, or you can go into your Camp in Touch and just add it yourself, and then we'll process the payment on our end. All right. Any other questions that you guys may have? Again, the whole goal is to be quick, easy, simple, and enjoyable. And hopefully we've conveyed that.
I would be happy to ask about the letters. I didn't really understand it about them writing us and us writing them. I'm supposed to buy the envelopes. How does it work?
So I'm happy to stay on after if we have questions kind of about
Okay.
other things, about letters, or I know there's some questions about photos and things like that came through direct messages. And so if you'd like to stay on, I'm happy to stay on and answer those questions. But I just want to make sure if there's any other questions about opening day specifically, we get to those, and then we're able to, close the call a little bit and we can get into some of the other questions. All right. So if there are no other questions, I feel like we probably did a good job of explaining what to expect. And if you're still unsure, you jump off the call and something comes up, please feel free to send us an email. We're here to help you, to support you, to answer any questions and make sure you're set up for success. I can already see a few kids very excited to come to camp. So you guys are bringing me the excitement. So with that, I'll happily say good night. If you have some questions you want to ask, just a little bit more personal or curious, please feel free to stay on, and I'm happy to chat and explain anything that you'd like.
And before you leave, Ben and Charlotte, I've met your mom, and amazing.
All right, well, we'll see you guys in just a week.